This particular pump probably flows up to 1,500 horsepower. The one on that car flows up to about 2,000.
Hey, real quick before we start this video, a lot of you guys have been asking for team shirts. Finally, Autohaus has t-shirts, so it would really help out a lot if you supported the shop, got some merch, some shirts, stickers, support the media work, support me and my dog. Check out that merch store so I don't starve you guys. So at the start of the morning, probably the wildest sounding car, I could hear that sequential clock, clock, clock.
Yeah.
So my new friend Chris today, why don't you introduce yourself, talk about your car.
I'm Chris. I'm actually from Austin, Texas. This is a 1990 Nissan Skyline GTR. The motor was built by its conjunction of rips in New Zealand, so it's a 3-liter billet bottom end with a race-ported, CNC-ported head, big cam, 6870 car. Just out here trying to do a shakedown, figure out stuff. As you can see, I'm kind of figuring stuff out. Did a little spin, a little dance, but just dialing the car in. It's probably been a 6-year build total. Sat for 4 years, wasn't even able to drive it. Just recently, Original Auto put a huge amount of effort into getting it back up and running. So they've assembled the engine, they put everything together. It's got basically everything GK Tech makes for suspension. It's got GK Tech, so shout out to Dan Brockett, thank you, sir. R35 brakes, we deleted. Unfortunately, we couldn't use the master cylinder, so it's manual brakes. So this car is pretty savage on driver. But it's fun. It's a fun car. It's pretty responsive with a 3-liter. Makes about 731 on 24 pounds, and it's about 850 on high boost, I guess. It's like 38. So.
What fuel do you run in this?
And I run E85, and I actually have to go get more.
Man.
20-minute drive to Palmdale. But yeah, it's wrapped in Avery Denson green. Just finished doing some interior stuff on it, and yeah, we're still waiting. So it's running on the first set of injectors. So these are the primaries. These are 1700cc IDs, and we've got a second set for 1,000. Because I built this car with the intention of making it kind of a street car. It was kind of a Nikura-san style. You know, I want a responsive car. I also want to make a lot of power. So ideally, with this setup, we think we can hit 1,000, possibly. It's probably going to be closer to like maybe 950 at the wheels. But that's the end goal, just to see what it maxes out at. The engine is built for 1,500 horsepower. But yeah, man, it's got AC, stereo. I just drive it on the street. We drove from Tarzana over here. So.
You know, that's one thing I love, these 3 original auto cars, AC and power steering, all of them still.
Then the thing is, it's you know, with these cars, you don't have to compromise. Some cars, you know, you've got to take stuff out, you know, when you go turbo, things like that. These, you can have it all and enjoy it too. So, yeah.
So, sorry, talk to me about this mechanical fuel pump injection system again.
So this is a Kinsler mechanical fuel pump. We call this the Australian spec build because a lot of the guys in Australia run these pumps purely because of reliability. They have really high flow needs, especially with the 85 or C16 or Q16. I mean, the domestic guys have been running these forever. If you come out here when they do like the American Iron series and stuff, you'll see Kinsler pumps on the fuel injected cars. It's tried and true. I mean, it'll flow. This particular pump probably flows up to 1,500 horsepower. The one on that car flows up to about 2,000. So that's kind of the big power RB30, but I'm sure you already talked about that one. But so we run mechanical because it's reliable. If you have an electrical fuel pump, sometimes you'll run out of fuel on the top end, especially under high boost. But with this, it's run off the cam, so you never run out of fuel.
And then what harness and management do you have?
So right now it's on a Haltech Elite 2500. We're moving up to the Nexus because we want to be able to use the CAN keypad and like set up like rolling anti-lag and all those different things. And then it's running a Wiring Specialties harness. So shout out to Wiring Specialties. It's their Pro Series harness, and they pretty much custom built it for this car. So I had it spec'd out for this car. So like a lot of PRP stuff, like the R35 coil packs. So they did the harness for that. We did the harness for all of the air conditioning, power steering, everything. So yeah, I'm a big carbon and titanium guy, and I didn't know where I could fit it in. So Pablo had the idea of doing the charge pipes you can see in titanium, and then kind of they do all this stuff in house. So they build like these carbon intakes. And
they build these carbon intakes.
Yeah, I think they have either source or they build them, but yeah.
And then you said your charge pipes are all TI.
They're TI to the intercooler, and then they're actually aluminum going to the intercooler because this part you can't see. So.
Yeah. Do you have your wastegate dumped somewhere?
Yeah, so it's a Hypertune intake and a Hypertune exhaust, and I'm running twin Turbo Smart 45mm wastegate, so it dumps to the ground. And the reason why it's so loud is it's got a 4-inch cutout, so I can close the cutout and it goes through the HKS exhaust, and I can open it, and that's what you hear on the track.
And so the clunk, clunk, clunk from this morning, what transmission's in here?
So it's a OS88, OS Geekin transmission. It's their, I guess, version 2 OS Geekin. Waited 8 months for it, so seems pretty good. The engagement is harsher than like the PPG and the Samsonis, but it works really well. You know, it's shorter gearing. I had the gearing spec'd for this car for more like, you know, 1 to 4 is close ratio, and then 5 and 6 is further ratio. So, you know, it's for this kind of stuff, it works really well. So it's kind of a mix, right? Drag, street, track, you know, so it's hard to get the best of both worlds, but I tried to get kind of a more rounded, you know.
Yeah. Can we check out the interior?
Yeah, sure. What's up, brother?
Hey.
Are we moving cars?
Wow, that's wild, like how unassuming the shifter looks, right?
It's very unassuming, yeah. So I got all of this through, there's a British company that sells the suede, and then just put this on yesterday, personal steering wheel. As you can see, I like to keep it full interior. We're gonna cage it. That's actually the next plan, is to do a full cage, but keep the interior and keep it, you know, kind of like the Built by Legends car, very subtle. I used to have a nice dash. I say nice, and I did the Haltech because the Haltech gives you a lot more, here, I'll turn it on.
Like functionality,
Functionality,
right?
yeah. So you get more safeties. You're able to monitor more things. It's got the OS Geiken gear selector.
Oh my God, sorry, let me go over.
Yeah,
to the
sure,
other
sure,
side.
come over here.
Before I go over, whose signature is this?
That's Hiroshi Tamura. So Tamura
no way.
signed this car. He signed it here, and he signed, I believe, Pablo's car and another.
Oh my God, where'd you meet Tamura-san at?
They had so I know Steve Ellis of Top Rank really well because we both grew up in Texas. So he invited us out to a private event where Tamura-san was there, and he checked the car out. He was like, it's a good build, you know, different. It's not the style the Japanese are used to with more response and stuff, but it works for what it is.
Well, he signed off on it.
He signed off on it. Yeah, I actually saw him in SEMA, and he's like, he remembered. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Good stuff, good stuff. Are you able to roll through the gears, and can we see this selection?
Sure, yeah. So normally, yeah, I'd have to. So it goes through first. So the way it works is just like, you know, like an F1 car or any other car. You pull back to shift up, and then you move forward to shift down. And there's actually a reverse cutout, so you can pull it up. Right now I have it bypassed. Yeah, so.
Wow.
Yeah. And so you don't actually need to use the clutch when you shift. You can, when I was trying it out on the track, you can actually pull back while you're full throttle.
Oh man.
So.
Flat shifting, correct?
Flat shifting.
Hell yeah. So running gear, so OS88
Yes.
To the factory transfer case, is that how it works?
Yeah, so it's a rebuild transfer case. The front end diffs are ATS, so it's got a 2-way mechanical ATS rear diff, 1.5 way in the front, and then original auto kind of set up the amount of force that it applies to each side.
Yeah.
It's got a drive shaft shop, 1500 horsepower carbon fiber drive shaft.
Awesome.
So that helps with the response quite a bit.
Axles, do you have anything?
It's got upgraded front axles, the 1500 horsepower axles from Drive Shaft Shop. Shout out to those guys. Big help on that. I snapped axles a couple of times.
I was just about to say.
Yeah. And then it's basically the factory axles, but the factory axles are normally not the weak link on this car. Yeah, the rear ones. So.
What would you say the weakest link of the drivetrain if I want to make power on these?
Probably front diff. We split the front diff on this one. We were doing some testing, and it snapped in half.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was just the way, because I have a full race all-wheel drive controller, so I can set it up to 50%. So we launched it in the rain, but I think we had it cranked, and it just sent all the power. So lesson learned, rebuilt the front diff. But yeah, like front diff, front axles, those are kind of, especially in an all-wheel drive car that has sticky tires.
Yes.
Any large sticky tire is going to cause a lot of strain on those components, and normally the weakest link, like CV shafts, half shafts, those things will fail. So.
Awesome. Any last quirks, notable things you want to mention about this car?
Yeah, I mean, it's still like a long-term work in progress. The next step, like I said, is we're going to cage it, try to go for more power. Just testing the health of the engine. I'm very OCD about a lot of stuff, which unfortunately puts strain on Pablo, but he's very understanding. So he goes through everything pretty meticulously. We're checking for blow-by right now, and just like little things, you know, with the high boost application, especially with RBs, they have blow-bys, especially 30s. So just kind of figuring it out. I'm gonna dial in the suspension. Shout out to Odie from Feel. That guy totally dialed this car in. So it's got a Feel 442s, so they're the 2-way adjustable, rebound and compression. So I'm playing with that right now, and I need to probably get some pointers from him. But yeah, other than that, just kind of getting the suspension set up and just, you know, enjoying it, man. Just getting it dialed in. Keep
Awesome.
building. That's the key, right? Progress. It's not one big build. It's multiple layers of progression.
Well, Chris, I really appreciate your time,
Of
man.
course,
And
man.
you have a freaking breathtaking car. I'm like, I don't even know what to
Appreciate
say right now.
Thank you.
Sorry, by the way, oh man, I can't get over it. Rose gold.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
valve cars,
It's,
oh, man.
So this is an area of contention for me, but
It's not for me.
No, for you. So my wife thinks it's rose gold. It's supposed to be copper, but I'll take whatever color people think, because I think as long as it looks good and you guys like it, that's all that matters.
100%. But yeah, appreciate it again, man.
All right, it's gonna meet you, Ziegel.
Yeah, likewise.
Take care. Awesome.